I find it perplexing that Janelle, known as the competition queen, cannot participate in Big Brother Reindeer Games due to her contractual obligations with Peacock, stemming from her involvement in Traitors 2. It's a curious decision to center a show entirely around competitions without including such a prominent competitor. I doubt I'll ever comprehend the reasoning behind it. And I'd be fine never seeing Josh cry on TV again. I'm kind of hoping the challenge stops bringing him back too. Yes, he's drama, but he's not the kind of drama you enjoy watching. He's the kind of drama you wish would estify you. Also, a bit off topic, but the whole thing with Janelle being on Traitors makes me wonder if BB25's delayed start had to do with Suri's contract on Traitors S1. I know she filmed the reunion at some point during the summer. People say I'm not going to watch it because of Frankie, which is 100% fair, but I mean, it's literally 6 episodes of only comics. Why would anyone watch it? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. On Point, it's Sophia. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching and hit the subscribe button. So let's start. Observation about 2 pairings this season. Something I found interesting earlier in the game. Jared fed a lie to Red in an attempt to split up him and Cam. Rather than go to Cam, he just assumed it was correct. Then Cam, noticing something was wrong with Red, never discussed it. Flip to later in the season. Felicia fed a lie to Matt in an attempt to split up him and Jag. But rather than just believe it, they talked it out. The major difference in the game, in my opinion, and yeah, I was really thrown by the Red and Cam breakdown. I cannot, for the life of me, understand why Red just took what Jared said as the truth, and then to not even try to confront, clarify, or corroborate the conversation with Cam. I really think his emotional reactivity and response to that ended his game. Obviously, there is some underlying lived experience Red has had with the breakdown of a friendship or a betrayal that informed and clouded his judgment there. It was super unfortunate, and I hope they reconcile back in the real world. And Cam did try to discuss it. He said he didn't know what was wrong or what he had done. Red told him, "I reckon you do." Instead of saying, "I heard you were coming after me" or whatever, Red was just like, "You know what you did." And to be fair to Red and Cam, that's probably the norm for a BB friendship. It takes a lot to even check with the person because if it's true, they'll probably lie, and B, it can paint a target on you if it gets back to the person who told you. So a lot of times, lies go unchecked, which is why people do it. Matt and Jad were basically showman's lol. Nothing was going to split them up shy of one of them taking a shot to win the money, and even that didn't happen. It's sort of an unusual level of trust, but that's why it worked so well. But an interesting parallel I hadn't thought of. And part of it was that more people trusted Jared a lot longer, basically right up until the have not blow up between him and Corey. And remember, just before that, Matt and Corey both believed the worst of Jag and were calling him a motherfucker because they thought he told Jared about the flip. Corey getting Jag and bringing him into the conversation with Jared was what corrected it. After that, I think Matt and Jag were much closer and trusted each other more, and were more likely to double-check info against each other. On the other hand, I want to emphasize that I don't follow the feeds, but based on my perspective as a viewer of the TV broadcasts and my exposure to discussions on RAGP, it seems to me that Big Brother Canada, BBCAN, holds a superior status compared to Big Brother US, BBUS. I feel like I enjoy watching BBCAN way more than BBUS, and I have now for several years. I feel like there are several reasons for this. Firstly, casting. One major factor for me is the casting. It feels like the Canadian cast is generally hungrier and more willing to play an individual game. In contrast, the Americans often lean towards a more loyal and alliance-based game. Additionally, BBUS has a tendency to overly characterize its contestants as one-sided, almost cartoonish figures, blue, red. Secondly, theming and editing. BBCN takes itself way more seriously, but still has time for the fun and goofy stuff without overdoing it. The US seems to be really catered to kids, and what kids might find fun is the overemphasis on snot and fart jokes. I could never recommend BBUS to a friend, because I would be too embarrassed about how cringy it is a lot of the time. Thirdly, the length of the game. Why in the hell do we have these no elimination weeks on BBUS? If the goal is to extend the season, why not just cast more people? I am completely taken out of the show whenever nothing happens for 3 whole episodes. BBCN, being shorter and more condensed, reduces the risk of losing momentum during the season. Anyone else agree? I really want BBUS to go back to its glory days, but it seems all but lost at this point. Well, not anymore because they 86 the live feeds. Now they can just make up any narrative they want, which was already one of the show's biggest problems. Even if you don't watch them, it's the lifeblood of the show, and feeds were what kept the show accountable in their storytelling. As a Canadian, a big difference I see is in the contestants themselves. I agree with your assessment and want to add that it feels like the American players are often much more focused on how they will be perceived by America if they make certain moves. This last season was a little bit better. There were fewer influencers cast, but there are generally fewer players willing to be cast as the villain, whereas the Canadians will do whatever it takes to win without thinking about their public perception afterwards. I mean, yeah, but now that they took away live feeds, it's hard for me to support it. Plus, Ken 11 was awful. The first 10 seasons in general are better than newer USBB, but I personally think that older USBB is better than Can. Yes, BBCN is leaps and bounds more entertaining, cutthroat, and way better produced. I wish we had access to the latest seasons here in the US. However, experiencing the post-Big Brother blues is quite common. Transitioning from actively following live feeds, daily updates on platforms like Reddit, Twitter, or Instagram to a period of relative quiet can be a bit disheartening. How do you typically cope with this void once a season concludes? And this is around the time I usually bow out of all BB talk. Once the season ends, I usually don't think about it until the next summer. Reindeer Games is going to mess that up though. I don't want to be all in on BB year-round because I don't want to burn out. And the Challenge USA Season 2 that just ended was one of the best seasons I've ever watched. Tons of former BB and Survivor players, and the winner played an insane game. 10/10 highly recommend. Additionally, for some humor, let's categorize Big Brother winners based on the dominant elements of their winning games: strategy, social skills, physical prowess, and a dash of luck. And due to the TV edit, I cannot tell you one single thing about Xavier's game. I don't even know that person. That's because he really didn't have to do anything until the end game because of the cookout working hard behind the scenes to protect him when other players were targeting him, unbeknownst to him. Ethanimel's video does a good job of breaking it down. Jag had some luck in there for being brought back and getting to play Ho twice in a row, and having Will's game under luck is wild. I have yet to see someone provide a point that supports that. He started out as one of the most hated people in the house, and then went on to survive 4 nominations, basically write the blueprint for strategy, and then win the game. He did it by outthinking and outmaneuvering everyone socially and strategically. I'm not sure what's lucky about that. And I don't think luck is a fair category because nearly every winner required some amount of luck. And I think most winners had a fair amount of luck to get far in the game. For example, you could argue Xavier was lucky Tiffany was hellbent on getting the cookout to Final 6. She wanted an all-black Final 6, and often made moves against her own interest in the game in order to advance the cookout. At any point in the game, most winners, except for Cody in All Stars, had a point where they were close to being evicted. The great ones are able to recognize that danger and win a comp or use their social game to get out of danger. But then sometimes, you get a player like Jag who was unknowingly saved by a twist he did not lobby for. On the other hand, I'm craving post-final interviews, especially those conducted in the backyard. Apart from the discussions with the top 3 finalists and America's favorite player, AFP, are there any other interviews that might have slipped under my radar? I'm particularly interested in hearing from the jurors about their voting decisions and their thoughts on the overall outcome. RHAP will likely have a few over the next few days. The HCs need some time to party or connect with loved ones or join the mafia with Matt and I. At last, unpopular opinion, HCs. Just for fun, does anyone have a player that you like even though everyone else seems to dislike, and you get a little embarrassed to say you like them lol? Or a player who was really popular and you just can't get the hype? I love BB19 Josh. Anyone I tell thinks I'm weird, but especially seeing him on the challenge, I just love him. I think he's grown a lot since his BB days mentally and physically, and I'd love to see how he would do back on Big Brother. Plus, not gonna lie, I've always found him really attractive. Also, a person I really don't like is Nicole F. I know a lot of people don't like her from feeds, but I feel like she was painted to be this great person on live episodes, and she just annoyed my soul lol. Paul was Dutchy AF, but I really enjoyed watching their gameplay, and I find Rachel entertaining. I'd probably die if I had to hang out with her Earl, but it's fun to watch others struggle lol. And she's very popular in one sense, but you often only see negative comments about her. She won a rigged season. Her social game is impressively bad. She got to play with Brendan for pretty much her entire stay in the house, etc. Yeah, her social game is very bad, but she's a massive competitor who is delivering non-stop entertainment, and I personally find her absolutely hilarious. Bonus points because recently her and Brendan moved to my city. I about lost my mind when I saw him on a faculty page at the same uni my wife works at. And I'm a huge fan of Austin from BB17. He was definitely the villain of the season, and he was definitely a douchebag. But he was also funny, and most importantly, he didn't have the bullying impulse that a lot of villains on the show have. He was purely a villain for strategy reasons, and in general, he was nice enough, although he was kind of a prick to Steve. Like I said, he had douchebag tendencies, and he did cheat on his girlfriend, but as a character on a show, he was great. And Raven was an amazing casting choice. She was unintentional comedy gold, and she's responsible for the best Big Brother memes. And Josh, the Meatball Martinez, is entertaining. I'd gladly take him over Memphis any day. Also like how every felt about Boogie before he became a Batman villain. But from the seasons I saw him in, I never liked him. He always felt or looked like a middle-aged dude who peaked in HS. But hey, I guess that was early 2000s clothing style. And I'm probs gonna get downvoted for this. I love America and Corey as house guests, but I never got the hype around their showmance. People were saying it was one of the cutest showmances. Personally, I didn't get the hype. They just reminded me of an ordinary showmance, and I didn't find anything special about them. They're still great people though, and I wish their relationship the best. And I couldn't stand Frank in BB14. I thought he was insufferable and just very bad at the game. And Casey impressed me on S20 and seemed fun to hang out with. I also stand Victoria because she was the original meme HE. Also, Taylor seems like a nice person and overcame a lot to win BB, and think she had a compelling story. But I still wouldn't say she's a top-tier winner or good at BB. She kinda stumbled her way there and was never in control of the game. And Claire BB23, she seems lovely, but man did people hype her up preseason because she loves Survivor and BB. And well, I think she was a casting dud that brought nothing to the season. If she wasn't a super fan, people would have called her furniture. She will always be someone I point to when people say to cast only or more superfans. And I really don't mind Cam Lol. I like the chaos he brought to the season. I think Taylor is pretty overrated. She's awk, but I don't really get the hype. I couldn't stand her during her hoe. I feel like everyone hated her, but I loved Bib 21 Christie. She was so unintentionally funny. I also like JC Bib 20. That season just had overall great casting. Throw your opinion in the comment section below. According to my discussion, it is appreciated. Thank you for watching.